Welcome back to Observer Retro Streams. Today, our sojourn through Hanwell Asylum continues with Northcoast's observation on April 26th and May 10th. Stay tuned for more. Now, on with the show.
Why was I doing this? I needed to know what this place had done to me. The meaning behind those bizarre visions. I'd rather face the direful truth than live in blissful oblivion.
Welcome to the Hanwell Mental Institute. What can I do for you?
I wasn't expecting to find anyone here.
Oh? And why is that?
Well, this is gonna sound a bit strange, but I thought this building was abandoned.
As you can see, that's no longer the case. My name is Julia, and I'm the receptionist for the Institute.
Understood.
Let's talk rules then. First, you're fully responsible for your own safety.
I accept all the risks.
You must also leave before dawn. The construction workers are arriving early and will turn the place upside down. And please, steer clear of the upper floors. There's dangerous equipment up there. Do we have an agreement?
Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Julia. This means a lot.
Very well. Go ahead. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Julia, it's Bruno. Our adorable high-risk patient has escaped again. No idea how he does that. Please call someone. I need assistance immediately. I'm outside the cafeteria.
Bertrand, are you feeling all right? Talk to me. Don't make me lose my patience. I don't have all day. Leave me alone. I understand you must feel angry, but we're doing this for your well-being. You are lying. It hurts. I can't sleep. There are dark things in my dreams. Just calm down. Take a deep breath and relax. We'll explain it to you, but you have to trust me. I don't know. I am so tired. I can't think anymore. What about your fear? Think about your last session. Do you remember now? There's only darkness, and it moves there. It's been waiting, and now it knows we're here.
I assume you are...
I'm the new director of the Institute, Dr. Ambrose Miller. My purpose here is to honor the vision of my former colleague, Dr. Walter Hanwell.
Pleased to meet you. The reason I'm here is to research the older history of the Institute, from its heyday until the strange circumstances of its collapse.
As you can imagine, that's not a topic we like to discuss here. We prefer to look forward, not back in the past.
Well, as the new director, aren't you interested in what happened?
That remark seemed slightly insulting.
I didn't mean to.
Look, it was all a sorry episode that none of us are proud of, and those responsible have long since been apprehended. And that's the end of it.
What condition would you say can lead to chronic hallucinations?
In my experience, extreme stress. For example, panic attacks. Abuse of illegal drugs and other substances too. But most likely it would be something related to the brain, a physical problem, such as an imbalance of neurotransmitters. Schizophrenia can cause hallucinations as well.
Thank you for the thorough explanation. Don't you think it's a bit rash to bring in patients under such deplorable conditions?
I don't like your accusing tone. There's an ongoing housing crisis for mental patients. Would you rather have them tossed into the streets?
That's not what I meant.
Be that as it may, I'm not proud of the circumstances surrounding this reopening, but we have an obligation to provide shelter for these patients.
So, I assume you were acquainted with Walter Hanwell.
Quite so. Walter was a friend. We maintained ample correspondence over the years. Many subjects, both from the field of medicine and life itself, were our common interest. Many times I toyed with the idea of coming here to work with him. Alas, fate had a different plan for us.
What do you mean?
Well, the circumstances you're obviously familiar with. I was finally prepping myself for a greatly belated visit when all of a sudden the Institute shut down. Walter had been a friend in writing for many years, yet regrettably I never got to know him in person.
Why did Hanwell shut down all of a sudden?
That's not a topic we are discussing here, as you can imagine.
I'm interested in learning the truth.
Truth these days is a social construct.
Welcome back. And what a sight to come back to. Last time we just introduced ourselves to the Hanwell Institute, and with this update, I think we'll finally be getting some answers. Do be warned though, just like with scratches, the tension and horror is only going to increase from here on. The last thing I left off on was confirming that this mad scientist doohickey must be the complicated STRABBE device made by Walter Hanwell, and I'm gonna stand well clear of it unless we have a reason for it. In the meantime, let's look at the rest of this stuff. A microscope. And as it happens, we do have a slide for this. Just no samples at the moment. Right, a syringe just lying around. I'm sure that's safe. Unlike all the cabinets in the lab, this one we can actually open. Seems the only thing we can take in here is this vial of hydrochloric acid. It could take a week to eat through the wall. Too bad there's no kryptonite around to dissolve. If you've watched the animated Superman-Batman crossover, you'll know what I mean. And I might have cut the warning a little early by accident, but yeah, if it's not obvious by now, this game has blood, gore, and mentally disturbing topics, so viewing discretion is advised, especially later. I guess these control the machine, but again, I am not touching this. I mean, look at this thing. This can't be ethical. And in fact, it reminds me of the IT-0 interrogator droid from Star Wars. Meantime, let's look somewhere else. Like operating room B. Well, I would say this one is a bit less dirty, but that's not saying much. Ah, good. More notes. Breakthroughs in experimental surgery. The factor that Hanwell had so many patients at once with serious mental illnesses, that's why he built this contraption. To extract tumors. It would normally take 3 to 4 surgeons per patient to perform the craniotomy and extract the tissue. This strange invention led to some controversy, no surprise. Some scientists and surgeons believed that using such a machine would increase the possibility of brain hemorrhage, as the strab's accuracy was questionable. Dr. Hanwell dismissed these opinions as uninformed, stating the targeting mechanism of his machine was based on the most detailed brain atlas of the time, and that the strab was manufactured by the most trusted and reputable professionals. That sounds like what Dr. Steinman would say. So what do they use these for? Like a machine for electroshock treatment. Such savage methods of treating patients. It's someone enduring pain. Yep, mouth guard. I bet Dr. Terrence Merrick from Phantasmagoria 2 would think different.
Curtis, you've been a bad boy. I have to be punished.
I told you, this game aligns so well with other horror media. Sedative, eh? That gives me an idea. This is something we could actually use. And actually, I think I know someone who would need this. Last time, we got the key to the music box that Bertrand LaRoche needs, but we don't have the music box itself. But I do remember there was a patient downstairs who likes music, and Bruno was the last person to handle the music box, so I think that's where it is. So that loose high-risk patient has a cell down here. There he is. Sound was a little delayed there, but okay. Hey, Lumpy! It's time for your medicine! Whew, that should take care of him. And since this whole key ring contains the keys to all over the building, I think we can unlock this. There it is. Something familiar about this music box. Okay, I think it lagged there for a second. There he is, the poor French immigrant. Hang on. Yeah, I recognize this music box. There was one just like it in scratches. So what will this one sound like then? What is this? This looks distinctly like something from H.P. Lovecraft. And I got a bad feeling about this, and I think our character agrees. So now that we've solved that puzzle, what next?
Psst. Hey.
Lenny!
Lenny, what are you doing here?
I was cleaning the showers, and I heard something. What were you doing inside that cell?
I saw something very strange. I can't explain it yet. However, a picture is beginning to form in my head. But there's still a lot I don't understand.
Maybe I can help you.
You can? Please tell me how, Lenny. I'm growing more and more desperate by the minute.
I have a key. I took it a long time ago, before they released us from the Institute, around the time of the event.
A key for what?
Can I trust you?
Of course you can, Lenny. And I trust you as well.
All right. This is the key to Dr. Hawthorne's office. He knew things. There was chaos all around, and nobody saw me when I took the key and locked his office.
Dr. Hawthorne? Of course. Ebis Baker mentioned him in one of her recordings. He was quite close to the head director, right?
Yes. He kept secrets inside his office. You should look inside.
Thanks, Lenny. This is hugely helpful indeed.
Oh, one more thing. I was never able to enter the head director's office. None of the keys I took while cleaning worked. I think Hawthorne kept that key with him.
So Hawthorne's office may lead me to Hanwell's office? Interesting. Well, here we go.
Here's the key. And good luck.
Well, that's progress. And I guess we put that on our key ring. As a matter of fact, if you read Bruno's journal downstairs, he actually said there were 2 keys missing from the key ring, and both of those keys are what we're going to find. We have one of them. Oh no. Yeah, it so happens that there were two offices in the admin wing. We could unlock Dr. Ebus Baker's because it was already open, but not Dr. Hawthorne's. But first, over here, there are some hours where Julia is absent from here, so now we can look around her workspace. Better call Jerry. By famed writer Michael R. Thate. So, I think that confirms it. This is the 70s, and after the events of Scratches. Michael's typewriter looked a little different than that, so not totally sure. Register of visitors, and yeah, I think these are just Kickstarter backers. All right, here we go. Yet again, I wonder why no one's bothered to clean all this stuff. I can barely read this. Hey, what, lots of stuff, wow. First up, this is the film reel that was missing from the therapy room, and that's probably the key to Hanwell's office. I've asked the janitorial staff to refrain from cleaning my office. Their minds are completely blank, as if that moment was erased from their memories. So whatever the Group E experienced down in the tunnels, they can't remember, or they resist interrogation. But it does cause a reaction. We tie a rope around each patient's waist and push them inside, resisting the temptation to gaze beyond the threshold. We don't sense any movement. After a few minutes, we pull the rope and haul them out. We believe what the patients experience is unbearable fear. Our initial guess is that they were becoming paralyzed was correct after all. It's like they shut down in the presence of that blasphemous form before them. The human brain is such a marvelous organ. Even their deeply damaged minds react to protect them when they're in danger. As we drag them out of that ancient room, we can discern an expression of absolute dread on their faces. Insane or not, human emotions are still the same, yet they return to their old selves shortly afterward. The goal is to instill fear. Their minds are clearly processing the visual information. The theory is that if we were able to reproduce the conditions of the encounter, we should be able to recover details about it. Even if one patient is unable to describe it all, we could piece together a more accurate picture from multiple recollections. Our current approach is savage. We subject them to extreme situations in hopes of providing a reaction. I'm not proud of blatantly beating someone like some goon, but the promise of the knowledge and purpose concealed in that chamber is too powerful and supersedes my dignity. However, these methods aren't working. They react to pain, they cry and scream, but they don't do anything else. It's not true fear. We're not replicating the conditions well enough. This afternoon I spoke with Ebersbacher about the regression she is observing in Group E. Of course I had to play the fool, but her incessant babbling formed an idea in my mind. For instance, H, that's Will Hodgson, has pyrophobia. The mere thought of fire, or talking about it, makes him tremble in fear. Ebersbacher recalled an instance during one of her therapy sessions in which a patient casually said something random about firefighters, and H became agitated, tears rolling down his face. Following this revelation, I took him to the boiler room. The incandescent glow from the incinerators, the shadows on the walls, and the intense heat from every corner caused a reaction. I questioned him about the encounter, and he simply said, "Big." Poor soul, H. He can't grasp that an industrial incinerator is more dangerous than a lab burner. I moved the burner closer to his chest. Leveraging their fears is indeed the key. We managed to obtain more information. A picture is beginning to form. JC, that's Jonas Crawford, afraid of dark. Lenny, brittle bones? Yes, because he has osteogenesis. Rebecca Beers, sexual act. Oh, who's the fourth one? Bertrand LaRoche, denigration. And that's not all. There's an audio log too. Listen.
This is the next subject. Yes, we may proceed. Leave it to me. Hello, Leonard. Do you remember me? I'm Dr. Hawthorne.
What do you want?
Well, you may not remember this, but yesterday you went inside a place, a big room. We need to know what happened in there. What did you see?
I don't remember.
You need to make a big effort to remember, Lenny, or unpleasant things may happen.
There was a tunnel, but not ours. Things looked different. The smell, oh, such a bad smell. And then, no.
What happened next, Lenny?
At the end of the tunnel, I entered a room. Oh,
was in pain. So much pain.
Describe that room for me.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to remember.
Describe that room. Now.
It's so large. The walls are strange, with shapes I've never seen, and there's a glow everywhere. And in the center,
What is at the center of the room?
no!
What did you see?
My head is pounding.
Think. Think. Remember.
No.
You must remember, Lenny, for our sakes. What did you see in the room? I'll turn off the recorder until he's ready to speak again.
Okay, I hate this guy. And as it happens, Dr. Hawthorne is voiced by John Bell, who voiced Michael Arthate in Scratches, so that's kind of a chilling contrast. This is why he and Dr. Evesbaker are chafing. She tries to do actual mental help, but he only thinks it can be cured biologically. Biology is definite. Our physical body reacts to physical impulses. We could spend ages assessing the mind's response to kind words, but ultimately it's the configuration of phenotypes that matters. One cannot possibly identify a subcortical disorder by means of a conversation. Evesbaker insists on a holistic approach which devolves into a waste of time. Our society is crumbling. Swift action is necessary. Many of these behavioral complications are deeply rooted in their minds without a clear solution. Miserable subjects with a debased attitude who couldn't possibly fit in the world of civilized men. Phony misfits who demand attention, the paranoid, the lonely who mistakenly confuse the cacophony of modern life with assaulting our senses every day with actual mental problems. Evesbaker can fritter her hours away as much as she wants. My issue is the money involved. In the end, our existence is a biological accident. It's the glorious expression of our genetic material that confers meaning to our lives, and the only tried and proven way to deal with the ailments of our bodies is via the practice of standard medicine, and thus a shattered brain can only be fixed by physical means. Something tells me, although I should probably look at research more when I'm done with the stream, something's telling me that there may have been a few doctors in the 1970s who actually thought like this. Dr. Hawthorne's abrupt addition to the staff at the mental hospital was not without its share of controversy. He was an inscrutable character who, to the astonishment of many, quickly joined the highest ranks of the personnel list, skipping over roles held by established and arguably more qualified colleagues in the process. Dr. Hawthorne's accomplishments in the field of mental health are, for a noteworthy physician, meager at best. He rose to a certain level of public regard thanks to his imposing personality and stern countenance rather than distinct achievements. Well, that sounds familiar. As he had a formidable presence that allowed him to immediately command the attention of everyone in a room simply by entering it. His signature neat black suit compared with his cold, guileful gaze inspired equal measures of respect and fear in his peers. Rumors among those who were acquainted with the Institute's founder that Walter Hanwell's seemingly friendly, almost fatherly demeanor worked against him when it came to achieving his own goals. It's speculated the reason he chose to partner with Dr. Hawthorne, who seemed to have more manipulative, ruthless ways of managing Hanwell Mental Institute. Many colleagues were horrified, others who knew him well, less so. Testimonies hold that Hawthorne often engaged in heated quarrels with other staff members at the Institute. Nurses, who chose to remain anonymous, claimed that medical instruments previously thought to be lost would appear scattered around his office. While it's not unusual for a physician to work with dangerous tools such as scissors and scalpels, it's far from common to find them mishandled in an unsterilized environment. Nonetheless, this particular form of misconduct in Hawthorne's career could not be confirmed and was dismissed as malicious gossip from disgruntled employees. Dubious stories of patients secretly taken to his office late at night have not been verified either. Great! Hiring through corruption. What else is new? Yeah, I forgot I can just cut across here. Wow, unlike Scratches, we can actually walk through the rain. So that's him, huh? Before I go to Hanwell's office, I want to check if a certain someone is still here. Because these characters, these NPCs have a habit of popping in and out of existence every hour. Oh, too far. No, Dr. Miller is gone. Well, since he's not here, there is actually something else we can do. Well, oh wait, no, I'm jumping too far ahead. Not yet. I know there's something to do in this lab, but not until we get the info. Well, this is it. So that's Hanwell, huh? Kind of fitting that only one light here is lit. certainly likes surreal 19th century art, doesn't he? It is. It looks like a picture of a head and a neck composed of other human bodies. Yeah, he's got a picture of a woman trying to pull a man's eyeball out. This guy is just nuts. Vision of Walter Hanwell. As a young and promising general surgeon, he became fascinated with how mental illness worked. Firmly pursued his goal on understanding the intricacies of insanity. Actively encouraged colleagues and contemporaries in their studies, earning him the reputation of benefactor of the insane. His strong legacy in the studies of psychology and medicine permeates every room in the Institute. He was also known for his open mind when it came to the application of experimental psychiatry, surgery, and more enigmatic forms of alternative medicine. One of Hanwell's greatest contributions was the creation of the strab, an ingenious contraption for probing brain tumors. While this wondrous machine showed promise, it was developed too late for its time. He invented the strab, S-T-R-A-B-B-E, just before the dawn of a new technological era in which the proliferation of the far less intrusive magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, used for the detection of brain tumors, pushed it all too quickly into obsolescence. Walter Hanwell's approach to mental health care was not without its share of controversy. He was known for adopting a mindset strongly focused on achieving fast results, disregarding established ethical standards in the process. One example of his was his blithe attitude towards conducting experiments on live animals, a practice already rejected among his peers. An anecdote in the Annals of Hanwell Institute describes a shipment of foul-smelling rats transported to the premises for this gruesome purpose. In later years, Dr. Hanwell's interests shifted toward more holistic, perhaps even spiritual methods for uncovering the secrets of the mind. I wonder what that means. So this is a letter from Hanwell to Dr. Ambrose Miller. The book you recommended did indeed provide the means to understanding those primordial arrangements. We unlocked it. What an extraordinary document. What seems to be inside, I can't elaborate further, even if I try my best. We must act quickly. There's a plan in motion, so to speak. It's far from the scholarly treatment that this immeasurably overdue encounter deserves, but circumstances are acting against us. More? So this is from Ambrose back to him. I received news of your current line of research. To think you chose to erect that building in this particular spot, the Moire would have guided your way. See if you can locate a copy of the Skolix Vellum, an ancient manuscript by an anonymous author which presents an alternate configuration of constellations, one deemed too profane by the would-be astronomers of his age. Yours respectfully, A.M. So, my interpretation of this is that Hanwell erected the Institute on top of this cliff specifically because there's an eldritch being inside the mountain, and that's what they're trying to get information about. So what about these on the top? The rocks develop a shiny, slippery surface massaged by the history of centuries, millennia? You notice curious patterns on the stone walls and objects such as pots, effigies, and other fragments on the ground. Covered by a layer of spongy moss, a whole ecosystem had survived within these underground prehistoric walls. It felt strangely alien, with hints of human crafting, yet at the same time not quite human. We both agreed that the third floor of the hospital, currently in disuse, would be a suitable spot to research these items. There was a mutual agreement to keep this find from the rest of the staff. The continued investigation of these newfound tunnels are far more important than the remodeling of the building. What we found at the end of that tunnel is beyond our comprehension, an ultimate glorious secret right here beneath us. I caught a glimpse of his presence, enough to paralyze my body and mind for what seemed like an eternity. We cannot go in. Our rational minds would not be able to stand it. The same patients from Group E as before are the key to making progress. It's nothing short of a miracle our financial woes prompted us to resort to using our own patients to conduct the work rather than a professional construction crew. The patients have no idea what we found, and even if they spoke out, who would believe them? Tunnels, weird smells, strange artifacts? An idea is forming in my head. I'm sure Ellis will agree. Our fears are more useful than we thought. They helped us come closer to the entity, no other words to describe him now. No rational mind can withstand his sight. After all, what do we know about reality? It's merely electric impulses traversing our neurons. But if an alien being operates beyond the limits of our comprehension, those impulses would fry our brains, unless our minds aren't operating correctly to begin with. They are indeed able to visualize something we couldn't possibly possess with our sane minds. The fear they express when they enter that chamber is evidently unbearable, yet even worse than long-standing fears from their own past. Yet something sticks in their damaged brains. We can't recover that information unless we somehow produce the same emotional conditions. We are able to recover one piece of knowledge from each one by stimulating them to experience their past fears using various methods. An unexpected turn of events. All patients presented to the entity have developed an anomaly. Something physical has changed in them. As far as we can tell, they're all developing brain tumors. Why this is happening we can only guess, but the evidence is unquestionable. Is it even their damaged minds can't withstand the glorious sight of being underneath? Or is there a deeper meaning behind the alteration? We have no choice but to investigate these tumors, but we can't do it alone. The extracted tissues must be subject to standard procedures and thus thoroughly analyzed by our psychologists. For all obvious reasons, the source and nature of the masses can't be disclosed. We can't just drop them on the tables either, as questions will be asked. It's a blessing as it is that the strab is working correctly and leaves no scar, but we can't push our luck. Evis Baker is growing suspicious. We toyed around with the idea of firing her, but that might draw attention we can't afford right now. Alice had the brilliant idea of stimulating tumor growth in the same rodents already assigned to oncology. It's another fortunate coincidence that they're genetically similar enough to humans. Soon they'll be studied and we'll get the information we need. Alice will take note of the ID tag and watch the team closely. We established that for a tumor to manifest, one must remain in his presence for a certain period of time. Still, I asked Alice to subject me to a brain biopsy after my fleeting glimpse of those unfathomable shapes during our first time in that tunnel, just to be sure. I'm safe. Something isn't right. The patients, they're acting differently. It's difficult to pinpoint in what manner. They simply don't feel the same. Last night, Hodgkins was found lost in the basement, and we didn't take him there. Also, Lenny is known to experience absent seizures. But today, I observed him in the yard, and he spent many hours just staring at the ground below him. They act as if... No, they can't be. Why would they? We must do something, and soon. Evis Baker is bound to notice. I'll have Ellis recommend shock therapy in the case of Lenny. We risk an uproar, but there's no other option. My worst fears have been confirmed. There is very possibly something wrong inside me. Yet if that were the case, was there any solution at my disposal? The first step was to confirm that the tumor was real. Do you know what this means, folks? We have a tumor in our brain somewhere. And the only way to know for sure is to... Sorry, I don't know what came over me. The only way to know for sure about this tumor is to do a biopsy on ourselves. Well, first, actually, we need a sample of another exposed subject, and the rat in this cage to fit the bill. Now, we can't take these cages off because they're bolted to the surface, but there is a way to get that rat out of there. Great, we burned a hole through the table. Yeah, we're just causing more damage the more we explore. TPT 102. As it happens, that is actually one of the sample jars in the museum. So we better go and get a piece of that. And this is probably the last randomly generated puzzle in the game, because every time you play, the target jar is different. Oh, overshot it. Wait, where am I going? Oh, it's right here. So the rat tissue we need is in this jar. I'm honestly dreading what I have to do next. That's Rebecca. She's trying to hurt the child she's pregnant with. Because she did. There were records saying she thought it was a demon spawn. But, if anyone's still watching, might want to brace yourselves. Because every few games I have always seems to have a frightening scene that one always tops the other. First it was the mechanical spider in Obsidian, then it was the jump scare in the furnace in Scratches, then Savitro's breakdown in Myst 3, but this will top them all. I've grown numb to the cliches of horror in both games and movies, but this, I gotta well, even the music changes just for this. Well, let's read the instructions first, one more time. Step 1, turn on the power to the control panel. Step 2, rotate the principal knob to match the patient's cranial dimensions. Step 3, evaluate the harness. Step 4, press the activation button. Well, here, power, check. Cranial dimensions, check. Oh man, I'm legitimately nervous. Because I'm well familiar with hospitals and surgery, but this is nothing like that. We have no anesthetic, no help, and, well, I hope you have insurance, because this is going to hurt! Holy mongoose and a monster truck. Yeah. But not gonna lie. Well done, Agustin Cordes. Well done. You did it. Take that, Five Nights at Freddy's. You don't even come close. And as it happened, the first time I played this, I was actually sick with flu, so you can probably imagine how well I slept that night. Anyway, the sample we need is in this sterile container right here, but of course we gotta clean the syringe first. Not exactly the most sterile way of doing it, but it's what we have. I was supposed to realize this had come from inside my head. Well, it's time to find out the truth. Oh. I think for some reason, the rat sample didn't trigger. Oh, I went the wrong way. Funny, I thought I did that earlier. Oh well, now I have it. Now it's time we find out the truth. They're the same. Yeah, I would crash out too if I found out I had a tumor. I couldn't believe it. I'd confirmed what I feared the most. Nested deep inside my brain was an unexplainable tumor, the source of my visions, and possibly the end of my sanity. We've seen that before. I can't show the cursor, but down there, at the very bottom, that's the same tumor that both the rat sample and I have. And it's unidentified too. Well, I'm never gonna want to go back into this room again. Jesus, oh my God. Rebecca, what did you do? I missed this room. I wouldn't want to take a bath in this place. From what I know about hydrotherapy, they subject patients to either really hot ones or really cold ones to stimulate them. Aha! Two valves down, two to go. Injuries exhibited by allegedly mistreated patients could not be attributed to a particular source, ranging from severe bruises and cuts to searing burn marks. Family members of the patients and employees demanded a more severe intervention by state authorities. Dr. Hanwell, whose disinterest in discussing these grave allegations with the media borders on offensive, did not respond to our inquiries, tarnishing his public image beyond repair. Now going to the second floor female wing. We're almost done exploring the second floor, because there is one more floor. I sometimes forget this part of the hallway exists because there's so much activity at the other end. Huh, the second floor male ward is just locked up. Oh, come on, I can't even look at that corkboard? I am gonna go downstairs because I need to look at that film reel. No, Julie's still gone. There is a point where you can gently allude to the second floors and she'll get ticked off at you, but she won't stop you from going up. Right in here. So what was Ellis trying to hide on this one? That's the boiler room. That must be Jonas Crawford down there. He's afraid of the dark. God, you guys are dicks. So Crawford stole an artifact, and as you might guess, that grating in the boiler room is actually directly above the reservoir we're trying to drain. Now, it's time to see the third floor. Holy crud. This feels like when Blackwood Manor's second floor was halted mid-construction. This is just straight up abandoned. There's boards on every surface. Whoa, a whole theater. Actually, we saw this on Lenny's work chart, and this is the last thing he was going to sweep. Finally, we get to learn about Lenny. Leonard Huntings, or Lenny as he's referred, is one of the friendliest, most helpful patients currently admitted. He's very slim and has an unhealthy looking countenance. His manners are polite and gentle. He speaks softly and often stammers. His hopelessly melancholic visage, which makes people think of him as a ghost, demands sympathy. He rarely gets in trouble, so they let him perform maintenance tasks because he's so friendly. Regrettably, he suffers from a crippling case of myelodysplastic syndrome that has devolved into leukemia, severely weakening his bone structure. Well, that's not good.
Lenny, what are you doing here?
I'm watching the show.
Show? What? Oh.
Why don't you sit with me and we can watch it together? It's very entertaining.
Lenny, please, you must listen to me. I have the tumor. I think you have it too, and Bertrand. We all do. Everyone in Group E.
I don't want to talk about that now.
But Lenny...
Maybe it's good if we don't remember. If I was in pain, I wouldn't want to remember. I'd prefer to be happy, like I am now.
My visions are getting worse. You will have them too.
Why are you doing this?
Because I need to know, Leonard. I can't afford to lose my mind again. I want to remain in control.
Oh, this next part is fun.
What can you tell me about this third floor?
The doctors used to come here often.
For what purpose?
I don't know, but I think there's a secret here.
Time to see what they were hiding then. Lenny, I saw a film. Horrible film. They locked someone in the basement.
I don't want to hear about that, please.
Just listen. In the film, there was an item that fell through a grate, and it seemed to be something of huge importance to the doctors. You know, the doctors that did this to us, Lenny. It happened in the boiler room.
Yes, the fire. I remember. It was so hot.
What's below the boiler room?
The sewers.
Do you have any idea what this item in the basement could be? It's something one of the doctors always had with him.
I remember a key, but it was a strange key, not a usual one.
A key? But for what?
Well, sorry, that's all I remember.
Is there anything else you can tell me about this?
No, I'm sorry.
Do you remember anything about the sewers down in the basement?
Me? No, I've never been there. And I don't want to.
I believe there's something important down there. Is there anything you can tell me about the sewage system in the building? There is a sort of septic chamber or tank that can't be opened.
It's complicated. I remember seeing spots where you can put some kind of tool and turn it. Sometimes I can hear a hissing sound near those spots.
Pressure, maybe. Lenny, do you remember seeing a red symbol? Like a circle with...
No! Stay away!
What?
Don't go there! That symbol means bad things. The pain.
All right, Lenny. No more talk about the symbol. Lenny, what did they do to you? I listened to a recording. It was horrible.
Yes. Now you know.
But why?
I guess sometimes people are just mean.
That may be true, but there's got to be more to this. They wanted information from you. What was it?
I can't. Please, I'm too weak. You must keep looking on your own. There's something down below that they want. Only we can see it.
Who's we, Lenny?
People with mind problems?
Those maniacs tortured us in the worst imaginable way, Lenny. Leveraging our deepest fears for their own gain.
Yes. It was different for each one of us. We were scared when the burly man appeared with new burn marks. We rejected him, but then it started happening to the rest of us.
Lenny, what did they do to you?
Since I was young, my body has been weak. I move slowly because I'm afraid to break something.
Oh no. Did they?
Yes. They broke me. That's the pain.
What the hell is wrong with this place?
What is your worst fear?
My worst fear? My fear. I'm terrified of losing control, Lenny. I must know that I'm in control of my own actions. I don't want to lose my mind. Lenny, please help me.
I can't. It's too late for me.
Are you familiar with the name Crawford?
Right. Crawford. He was in our group with Dr. Ann. He made many jokes. So funny. I laughed a lot with him. But he also had a scary look on his face. Sometimes he just went crazy.
Do you know what happened to him?
No. One day, he just disappeared.
Did you ever meet the former director of the Institute, Walter Hanwell?
I'm not sure. I saw many people walking around in the Institute in the past, but no one ever told me who Hanwell was.
I see. Thank you. Is there anything else you can tell me about this?
No, I'm sorry.
Well, that's it then. Lenny's done for. His mind is gone, just like Bertrand.
Nice talking to you, Lenny.
Oh, there was a glitch. It's like that question in Shutter Island. Live a monster or die a hero? Did Julia or Bruno have a plan in mind for what to do with him when he was finished cleaning? He did have a cell number 105A downstairs on the first floor. I'm not sure they did, really. They had to have more competence than these stupid AF doctors. So up next, just like the second floor, is a hallway with 4 rooms in a square. I can't quite see it. Looks like art room, workshop, leisure room, chapel, office, deposit, empty room. Now, why would you label that? And a greenhouse here. Past this point, a puzzle boss is going to trigger. Well, actually, past that door. So this is the art room. Holy moly. Patients made this? With these names here, why do I get the feeling that some of these were fan-made art? This is something I would expect to see in Layers of Fear. It's probably a coincidence, but I swear this pic looks like, almost like Mr. Red from Total Distortion. He could make an expression just like that. Signed by, what does it say? Richard Pickman. Well equipped to address all the needs of the mind. So here, they made, it looks like they made sculptures. Crazy or not, I kind of like these sculptures. They're at least stylish looking. Big D. Bugs in the furniture. Ugh. You know what I can't get over? The fact that we have a tumor in our head gives me vibes of the movie Videodrome.
Attention Julia and all personnel. The high-risk patient has escaped again. He is very violent, more than usual. I believe he's rushing toward the 3rd floor. Proceed with extreme caution.
Oh, crud. So here's how the strategy works. He's not going to attack us if we keep moving, but we have to proceed in a loop around until we can find one room to trap him in. Music wasn't gonna calm him down this time. Besides, I don't know how to play a piano. I'm looking around because as soon as I move out of this room, Mr. Bulkhead is going to trash the whole place. And as you know, this crazy dude doesn't even have a name, nor do we, in fact. See, now he's right behind us. So this is the designated empty room. And I'm gonna read this later. See, now he's trashed everything in sight. So now he's still in that room. And now we can move this giant fallen cross. Yes. Enjoy your new home, nut job. So now we can properly explore. Wow, they had a classroom too? It's like this entire floor is condemned. Yeah, just looking at this renovation is a lost cause. I think it'd be better if we just demolish the whole thing and be done with it. Because Dr. Miller is no less sane than the other two guys are. The last newspaper, a patient hurts herself savagely. The overcrowded Hanwell Institute has succumbed to its worst episode yet. The following paragraphs present disturbing descriptions. Disgruntled employees have been warning the media of the atmosphere of neglect and allegations of misconduct. A pregnant patient with severe mental disorders descended into a manic state and performed a sanguinary abortion on herself, Can someone look up what that means? Nurses who witnessed the self-mutilation described the scene as a savage bloodbath, also stating that the patient was alone in her locked room without access to any foreign objects. A nurse discovered the vile act thanks to a pool of blood spreading under the door. When pressed, she refused to reveal any further details of the gory scene. It's clear to this reporter that the famed Hanwell Institute is spiraling out of control, and authorities should seize control of the building immediately. I do want to note, for the sake of the chat ask system, that hiring patients was not the intention of Dr. Miller or Julia or Bruno. That was something Ellis and Hanwell devised back when they ran the Institute before this point. So what was in that document I grabbed? The final article about the Institute. Word spread fast, and authorities who had already set their sights on the establishment were quick to act. The combination of disenchanted employees, wild rumors, and growing public scrutiny spelled doom for the Hanwell Mental Institute. Authorities swarmed inside the building with a warrant order. Documents were seized, staff members taken into custody, and much of the facility equipment shut down. In the blink of an eye, Hanwell Mental Institute simply stopped functioning. The building was evacuated almost immediately, and all of its patients were redistributed across a number of smaller but more modern facilities. Dr. Ann Eberspacher turned out to be most cooperative, speaking about the oppressive nature of her working environment. Ellis Hawthorne was found in the basement, seemingly attempting to evade the authorities. This fact damaged his legal case, as it followed grave accusations against him from the staff that were further supported in the statements made by Dr. Eberspacher. Hawthorne sought refuge behind a team of lawyers and continues to be embroiled in trials to this day, of course. Dr. Walter Hanwell could not be found inside the building at the time of the raid, but he willingly presented himself for questioning at a police station. It transpired that Dr. Hanwell corroborated all of Eberspacher's claims, thus sealing the fate of his loyal right-hand man and apparent friend, Dr. Hawthorne. Those who interacted with the once famous surgeon were perplexed by his neglected appearance. No case could be built by Dr. Hanwell himself, who disappeared from public life shortly afterward, never again working in the field of medicine. A few years after the interlude that became the downfall of the Institute, the possibility of rehabilitating the symbolic building has resurfaced. Once again, Dr. Ambrose Miller, who's closely acquainted with its history, has expressed interest in helming efforts to return the establishment to its glory days. Well, there's the plot all caught up for us. But, like I said, saving this building, to me, is beyond all hope. Jeez. This greenhouse is just as bad shape as the Blackwoods was. Bird cages, too. Aha! The final valve. And now we don't need the valve anymore. We're approaching the end game, by the way. There's not really much of interest on the third floor, just mostly eye candy. I imagine that if all these locked doors were open, the game pacing would take forever, just like Arthur said in Buried in Time. If they let us go everywhere, they would never have finished the game. Only one room left. Holy moly. What in the world were these two men doing? Hey, it's that symbol! So it looks like a three-segmented circle with prongs at 2, 6, and 10 o'clock, and the 10 o'clock is contrasted with the solid red section. I finally found the candles, Jerry. I see what you did there. So it looks like this room would have been connected to the classroom, but not anymore. Good Lord. Are those alchemical symbols? What is this, Darkfall? It's probably one of the books that Dr. Miller told Hanwell to find. Well, I think here we're going to find our largest exposition, the most important exposition drop yet. And I thought the morgue was weird. It's never a good sign when a mental doctor delves into H.P. Lovecraft. That's the thing that Crawford got off Dr. Hawthorne. I feel nearly drunk at the prospect of harnessing all that power. We can't stop until his mysteries have been fully unraveled. I'm ready to exhaust all my resources, sacrifice anything and anyone until our goals are met. This is greater than mankind itself, even greater than me. The next step is to translate the logograms, which won't be an easy task, considering the poor state of the stone slabs. So many millennia, epochs of abandonment. The finding predates any recorded history of scientific research. There's no written account of the servants anywhere else. I'm not even sure that's the proper translation. We're completely on our own. It's imperative that we focus on the task at hand and make no compromises if we're to succeed. We may well be the first civilized and sane human beings ever to gaze into the innards of this mountain. If what I suspect is true, what awaits us inside grants the means to ultimate enlightenment, the permanence of actuality at our disposal. Servants is far from an accurate word, but there's no better way to describe them. Contrary to other ancient tribes, chief among them the so-called Dalmar, who at least had a sense of keeping a vicious god at bay, the servants sought to commune with a benign, malignant entity. I wouldn't call this a goal per se, but rather a way to exist. The servants sensed, as much as their primitive nature permitted, the formidable but alluring power of the entity. To achieve this communion, these earliest beings would make use of psychoactive substances, or entheogens as we've heard in recent times, to reach the state of genocide, the truest meaning of existence. Consider the implications of this fact. Sentient beings that existed long before any hint of our recorded history, or any form of religion, had already embarked on the greatest quest of them all, Entheos, the divine within, and it could be right here beneath us. Examples of entheogens include ayahuasca, peyote, and psilocybin. It seems, as far as I can surmise, the servants required a sort of mind shield to face the obtruse presence of the entity. This corroborates my other findings, yet I can't synthesize the prehistoric entheogens exploited by the servants. We lack that information, but if shielding your mind is the key, then perhaps the best way I've found to describe this entity, Falote, and I'm going to pause for a sec. Basically, these primitive beings were using drugs to shield their mind from this elder god, enough to actually communicate with it. The servants thought so little of themselves in the close presence of Falote that they failed to name their race in any way. It's the supreme surrender of will, the epitome of self-hatred and shameful submission under the influence of a foreign power. Imagine for a moment the fate reserved for a culture of people who would surrender themselves at the behest of a preternatural being whose concerns were far detached from their own. But luckily, nothing of the sort ever happened. Whatever substances the primitive servants used, they didn't succeed with merging this with this otherworldly visitor. The entire course of our history could have been so different had an inferior mind communed, and so Falote waits, forbearing as ever. Falote is wise, an entity enlightened far beyond human condition, and infinitely patient. He remains rooted within the bowels of our earth until the right vessel comes, and he is waiting to wait an insurmountable passage of time until that happens, and he finally breaks free to traverse the geometry of our world. Time has no meaning to him. Of course, a lower prehistoric species couldn't have tamed this illimitable power, but I have other means. Who is in control? That's the key. We naively think that we are in command of our lives, but the fabric of modern society shapes our fate by means of overwhelming information. Gee, that sounds familiar to our internet-based age right now. Our minds begin to malfunction, and thus we surrender to the unbearable noise sucking away our vitality, a dissonance perceived even on the mere page of a newspaper. Fallout also makes use of noise, but it's a different kind of disturbance. He delves deep into your mind. Something, an interference, perhaps even a physical change manifests when you face the horror. And yet there's a distinct possibility that we can tame this power. Yeah, right. When has that ever worked in media? A nascent theory provides hope. The configuration of our brains is still crude, much as I'd like to believe my genes are more sophisticated than the bour's servants. Not enough time has transpired to provide our brain cells the ability to grasp the essence of reality. We're still only able to process 3 dimensions. However, Fallout operates in another geometry of existence. Its visual information is too much for our minds to absorb. Yet the only way to commune with this entity is to endure his presence. It must be so old, impossible to comprehend with our earthly conception of life. Fallout must have emerged from the time in which the very stars formed. Perhaps he existed before it all began. Ambrose was right. The way to success resides in our primordial arrangements. The distinct influence of celestial bodies may have had an astounding implication during the encounter. This is too much to grasp, even for a learned man like me. There's a favorable configuration and a greater chance to prevail if the communion takes place at a specific hour, as we perceive time in our polyhedral coordinates. The first patterns were deemed too ineffable for limited sensibilities of monotheistic religions, but our illiterate ancestors couldn't grasp how the primal instinct of a lowly species like the servants operated, seeking meaning in the simple organisms of their era. Arachnids, coleopterans, millipedes, grubs, and yet the shape of these delicious constellations don't directly correlate with the arthropods that inhabited our planet. Grotesque caricatures of otherwise familiar outlines, as if some vital feature of their physical forms couldn't be conveyed on the flat surface of these slabs. We don't have enough time to construct an astrolabe. We'll have to operate with the spare details available. The symbol itself acts like a piece of the chart. When the position is correct, it provides the zenith of the equation. The symbol must be the vestige of some elemental language. The only way is to realize the encounter. Well, that was a lot, but I think I get the picture. There's indeed an elder god in the basement of this building, where Scratches towed the line as to whether the spiritual god was real or not. I'm banking on the sense that this one is very real. And it mentioned the ancient tribe from Africa, the Dalmar, so that confirms it. We are in the universe of Scratches. I imagine if that game's rights hadn't been seized, forcing Scratches into abandonware, then maybe this would be a direct sequel. A spiritual successor is good enough, but you know what this means. We have to go down there. All sources are 0. Yuck. What a horrible way for Jonas Crawford to go. I hope this panel just came off when I drained this, because otherwise this septic tank would have leaked out long ago. And there it is. They built this barricade, and now we have to smash it. And just like Pajama Sam did with King, we gotta oil this minecart.
Lenny, what are you doing here?
The time has come.
But how?
This is the place where it all happened. And now you must proceed.
I don't understand. Where have you been all this time?
I've always been here. With you.
What are you saying? Lenny, please. You're my only friend.
No one here can have friends.
What? Lenny, don't make jokes like that. You're scaring me.
Why are you doing this?
Why am I? I need to understand. I want peace.
Then go. The answer lies at the end of this tunnel.
Lenny.
I must go now.
Well, I think that Lenny was just a figment of our subconscious. But he's right. We do need to go on. And here, the final note. Ellis, I'm leaving behind this hasty note in the event you can follow my steps. The situation upstairs is untenable. It may have reached a point of no return. Their minds are too feeble. I have enough details. This is the second incursion of authorities, and we won't get away with them this time. We can't afford to lose control over our discovery. Never. This is the end of the Institute, so I've made my decision. I'm going in. We've wasted too much valuable time assessing the risk. We know no human being has ever attempted this. I choose to feast my eyes on the enrapturing radiance of Fallout. It's ours. We've earned it. Remember that. Should the worst-case scenario present itself after this irrational adventure, I leave my last finding on these papers. The tumor. It's a mechanism. The tumor acts as a sort of fail-safe device. Fallout, in his endless wisdom, honed through passages of time, understood the risk of taking control of an inferior organism. What lies beyond the cave? Is the vessel being threatened? How can he know? The entity goes so far in leaving the reconfiguration of foreign tissue. He leaves a part of himself as a test, or a probe, which our biology develops as a tumor. This is the abnormal growth we observe in the patients. Ironically, it was him observing us the entire time, and that is our biggest mistake. The patients relayed visual information, but the entity sensed the threat. We may be among the elite of our peers, but in the presence of Fallout, we are arrogant and stupid creatures. Stupid. I have to decrypt the significance of the visions, but I believe they represent beacons. They're part of the failsafe system. He wants to leave, waiting until an ambitious but strong soul faces him and withstands his gaze. Whoever is chosen will not only participate in a cosmic symbiosis our religions could only dream of, but gain an epochal power transcending our human condition. I should be able to tolerate his sight. If my suspicions are correct, not even our wildest theories could have prepared us for him. I may not be in control of myself after I enter that chamber. Take all necessary precautions to ensure our discovery remains safe. No one can proceed beyond this point but me, Walter Hanwell. Well, that begs the question, who are we really? We weren't documented among the members of Group E. And what happened to Hanwell? He was last seen at a police station and gave himself up, so did he go through with this? Or not? Is that why they boarded up this passage? These are things man was not meant to know. There's the carcinogenic mushrooms. Black, then white are all I see in my infancy. Red and yellow then came to be. Reaching out to me lets me see. As below, so above and beyond, I imagine. Drawn beyond the lines of reason. Push the envelope. Watch it bend. Overthinking, overanalyzing, separate my body from the mind. Withering my intuition. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. Found it. Whoa, this is new. How did we get here? Well, actually, I have a practical explanation for this. I read the developer notes that came with this game, and one of the things it mentions that the only other alternative would be to walk all the way back to the Institute from that tunnel, and that would have killed the pacing. So instead, I guess we just blacked out and woke up in here. But where is here? Oh, it's the shed we couldn't get into. And hey, at least it's finally daylight. But we can't inspect anything.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Egads! Oh, God. I don't think we're ourselves anymore. The entity has taken our body. The Elder God is loose. It's over. And before you ask, unlike Scratch's, there's no other ending. This is it. Once again, I gotta say, Agustin Cordes really knows how to scare people in a way no other horror title does. Nope. Came out a bit shorter than I thought the stream would go, but this game really does give an up-close look of a kind of mental asylum you often see in movies, but in a more detailed manner. Gotta give him credit for that. Only criticism I would say is the navigation, but I think that's to be expected with the engine. In the meantime, see you next stream, and this time we'll be going into space. One final mystery.